Welcome to this special edition of ONTV News, where we'll be having live coverage of the elections. I'm Bria Brown, and here with me I have Ian Locke. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Bria. Good to be here. I'm never sitting next to you.
I know you're always behind the scenes, so
I'm
this
usually
is different.
back behind the wall and watching the replays of the news and all that good stuff. So it's good to be here with you and share the table with you finally.
Yeah.
I feel like I've arrived.
Yes.
So it is election night. A lot happening.
Yes, it is.
We've got ONTV cameras all through the village and the township. Hopefully we're going to bring you a nice show. The last time we did this 4 years ago is one of the first programs we ever did in the new studio. It didn't go that well, so we're hoping that tonight is a little different. So, and I know you've been very busy today. So,
Yes.
Today was election for you. So
Yes.
share some of what you've been doing today out and about at your real job.
Well, I am a C&G news reporter for the East Sider, and they are a newspaper that covers East Point and Roseville.
Okay.
So I was out today, going to the different precincts, and it was not a big turnout.
Really?
Around 3 o'clock, one of the precincts I went to only had 34 voters. Another one had maybe 90, somewhere in that area, but
Okay.
a lot of the precincts only had like low 30s, low 40s.
Okay.
So
I know we've heard some of our volunteers who work with us here at ONTV were out helping, very active volunteers in Orion. They were out helping at the election, and we were hearing, between 150 and 200 at the end of the day, or not even at the end. I mean, we're still going, 8 o'clock, the polls are closing right now.
yeah.
So they had some 200. I voted about 7:45-ish, 8 o'clock, and I was number 30. So, very active up here. The political and watching your government in action up here in Orion is very, very.
It's very active.
It is very active, and people watching the meetings that we have on TV,
Right.
and participating in the democracy right here in town. So,
Yeah.
But we have a good show for you. It's stacked up with a lot of different things. So let's take a look at what you can expect coming up for the next hour, and we are going to review the ballot proposals because those are really important, and there's some details that I know we all already voted, but it's always good to rehash what did we
Right.
vote for, and
Right.
some details on that. We also have a live village report from Kevin McCormick about a ballot proposal that's coming up in November for the village. They kind of set out this vote as far as the village is concerned on items affecting them directly. But we'll have some information from Kevin down in the village. And the local seats up for grabs. We have the clerk, the treasurer, and trustees and all that good stuff. Our supervisor's running unopposed. There is a write-in candidate, so we'll see if the write-in candidate gets any votes today. And obviously the results. So our results are coming from Oakland County, and we'll just after this little interlude here with our graphics, we'll show you where you can take part. And we're going to attempt to bring you live interviews with the candidates out at Kings Court Castle at Canterbury Village, where they're all kind of congregating. And hopefully the ONTV cameras and our own Joe Johnson out there will have some live reactions from the candidates. So it's a full show. We're here for a full hour.
Yes, we are.
And we really, really hope Oakland County has a refreshed website.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Keep our fingers crossed.
So ballot proposals. Actually, let's show the link that everybody can use to follow along with us at home. This is what we're using. What does that say? OakGov/clerk rods /election/page default. If you want to type that in, go ahead, but we made it a little easier. If you go right to our website, and we have it here on the computer, you can see, there's my mouse, that if you scroll down after you log into OnTV.org, we have full election coverage link right here. So if you just click on the link, it'll take you directly to Oakland County, and it will look something like this. So yeah, so far it's working. We're crossing our fingers. We don't see any results just yet. We'll be refreshing this as we go along through the evening. But yes, play along at home. It's interactive. We are live here in the ONTV studios. Bria Brown's with me. It's going to be a lot of fun. So what are we talking? Ballot proposals, right?
Yes.
So what do we have on ballot proposals to start off?
Well, we have the, hold on, let me see, we have the,
I think we had fire
Yep.
renewal, and we had police renewal.
yes.
And the last one is kind of a
The
big
language
one.
was confusing.
Correct. For those two, if you read it right off the ballot, and we have the sample ballots here,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys all had a good time today reading those in the booths as you were filling in your bubble sheets. But it is very confusing.
Yes.
And we had a volunteer read it, and he goes, "Are my taxes really going up 26%?" And it's not the case. And it's just a renewal, and for the fire, it's kind of like a consolidation of two millages into one, so it's a little manageable, a little more manageable, we'll say. And the last one is the school.
Sinking fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, we
kind of
did
a-
a special.
Like you said, a chipper name. For,
Yeah, I know. It doesn't sound good. A sinking fund does not sound good at
Yeah.
all. But we did a special, and I interviewed the superintendent of Lake Orion Schools. Her name is Marian Janopoulos. So we did that, and she talked about the sinking fund and what it really is and what's going to happen. And we also interviewed a parent in the community as well. So.
Yeah, and the sinking fund, its language was pretty straightforward. But to help clear it all up, you're going to see a little video we have. We've run several times, but we'll play it again,
Yeah.
just as a rehash of the different expenses. And the one we keep forgetting is the zoo, the 10-year
We
renewal.
cannot forget the
I
zoo.
forgot the zoo. I don't see that as local because the money kind of goes, south,
Yeah.
but it's still Oakland County. But let's take a quick peek at the video on the ballots and just take a look.
On August 2nd, Orion Township citizens will be asked to vote on several upcoming proposals. The Oakland County Zoological Authority is asking to renew a previously approved millage to provide revenue for an accredited zoological institution. The proposed millage will be asking for the same amount of 0.1 mils on all taxable property in the county, equaling about 10 cents per every $1,000 of taxable value. The tax levy would be in place for 10 years from 2018 to 2027. The Orion Township Fire Millage is asking for 1.984 mils in the span of 4 years, beginning December 2016. The millage would go toward providing fire protection services, maintaining the fire department, hiring staff, and the purchase of equipment and buildings for the township and the village. If the tax levy is authorized, a property with a $50,000 taxable value would be taxed $99.20. The Orion Township Police Millage is proposing a levy of up to 2.9885 mils during the span of 4 years beginning December 2016. Millage funds would go toward providing police protection, personnel costs, and operating costs in both the township and the village. If the millage is passed, a property with a taxable value of $50,000 will be taxed $149.43. The Lake Orion Community Schools are proposing a building and site sinking fund tax to levy 2 mils for 10 years from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2026. The tax dollars received would go toward repairs and making improvements to the school district facilities. Funds from this tax cannot be used for operating expenses, maintenance, or employee salaries. If the millage is authorized, it would collect approximately $3,390,000 during the 2016 year. Be sure to head out to your designated polling location on August 2nd to cast your vote on these proposals. For more information about your polling location, visit oriontownship.org and navigate to the Clerk's office link under Government Departments. There you will find contact numbers, polling locations, and a precinct boundary map to direct you where to vote. Or call the Clerk's office at 248-391-0304, extension 104.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is ONTV News, and we are doing a special live coverage of the election. I'm Bria Brown, and this is Ian Locke.
Hello, and we just saw the video. It wrapped up with the sinking fund, and just to look at the sinking fund in a little more depth. Prior to the proposal of a sinking fund, the school district actually had 2 bond issues go down pretty substantially. I mean, it was overwhelming negative. So the sinking fund today, the vote on it today is, pretty crucial to maintenance to the schools and different things. I know the promotions of it over the last couple of weeks have really ramped up. Social media, the interaction on social media of people for it or against it has been pretty high in favor. But I know you cannot use social media as a gauge
No, you can't.
at any level. So, and plus with the history of the schools being voted down on the bonds for various reasons, we'll just have to see what happens today. And I know you, like you said before, you were with, put it together a little piece with Marion. So we're just going to have to see. And what can we use the sinking fund for? That was kind of the question that people were throwing around, because you hear different things. But what do you have there on your list?
Well, I highlighted a few things when I was reading this. So a few things that you can, I'll go over what it cannot be used for.
Okay.
It cannot be used for teacher, administrative, or employee salaries, maintenance, or other operating expenses. So what it can be used for is to make improvements and repairs to the school district facilities. So basically, improving the schools, so that kids have a better building to go to.
All right,
So.
and we know if you're walking around, I was just at the high school parking lots, kind of, in rough shape, just like any other parking lot around. It's Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, roads and parking lots are tough, and then you have, curbs and different things like that. Just, just kind of crumbling boilers. That's what they're looking for.
Right.
And some of the negatives have been it's 10 years. It's way
Some
too
people
long.
think some people think it's too long.
Too long, and then the estimated, 10 years of inflation over the 10-year period has been kind of a conservative estimate of what they're going to collect. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm doing two things here. I'm refreshing the laptop, and I'm seeing some returns starting to come in.
Okay, good.
Nothing for the Orion area just yet.
Okay.
But we're seeing some of the statewide polling numbers coming in.
Okay.
So where are we at here? So that's the sinking fund.
Yep.
And again, we're going to go to the village, I believe.
Yep, now we're gonna have live coverage with Kevin McCormick for more on the village ballot proposal for November. Kevin, are you with us?
We're here at the Village Hall, the historic Village Hall on Church Street here in downtown Lake Orion, which is now the home of the Lake Orion Village government offices, which they moved into about a year ago. If you've not seen this historic building, the architecture and the structure of it, you really need to come on down and take a look at it. It's something really worth looking. But moving on to the election, since today is election day, the village has got a couple of items that are going to be on the November ballot that you really need to be aware of. One of those main items is a police millage renewal. Now, this renewal is more than just a renewal, and ONTV had an opportunity to speak to Lake Orion Village Police Chief Jerry Narsh about what it's all about. Here's what he had to say.
Many years, probably 30 years at least. Orion Township collected the police millage tax in the township and in the village. And in this past election cycle, the township board had asked us to separate those two millages going forward, and the village agreed. So as a result, today on the ballot is a millage, public safety millage that benefits the collection of taxes for that purpose for the sheriff's office in the township, Orion Township Fire Department in both the village and the township, and for 1 year, just 1 year, collection of taxes for the Lake Orion Police Department for residents in the village.
Now that's not an increase, that's a renewal.
Yes, everything about that, from the sheriff's office collection of the township and the fire department and ours, it's the same dollar. It's technically a renewal. It's the same dollars that you paid after last 4 years ago, and those requests are just being combined into language today.
Okay.
Same dollar.
So should it pass today, why is it going to be back on the ballot in November?
All right, that's where things start to get confusing, but the easiest way to sum it up is this, and it's very important that people understand. Took me a little while to figure this out, but that people understand it's really not that complicated. It's just the language and the law, the election law, that makes it a little complicated. But in essence, in all the years in the past, the township collected the millage, the dollar, let's say, from the taxpayer. And then the township handed us, the village, the dollar. The only thing that's changing, Joe, is that in November and going forward, the taxpayer will pay the village the dollar for police service and not the township. It's the same dollar. In the November election, it will not be $1.10, it will not be $1.01. It's a dollar. It's the same exact dollar that they paid 4 years ago that they pay in August, today, at today's election. And it's the same dollar in November. The only thing that changes really is who they give the dollar to. And instead of paying the township and then the township gave it to us, it's now going to, the taxpayer will pay that dollar right to the village for their police service.
All right. And reiterate what this millage means to your department, budget-wise.
Well, it's the funding for police services in the village. And that doesn't mean, just like in the township, it isn't designated that it's Lake Orion Police. It's the fact that dollars are collected in the general fund budget for police service. If we don't have that money, then we don't have money to provide police service. So obviously, in our opinion, that's very dangerous and very important that we have police service for our community.
Okay. And so once again, let's look beyond today's election. Let's go to November. What's going to be on the ballot in November that affects Lake Orion residents?
That ballot. Now, where it starts to get a little confusing is why we had to do it the way we do. Why did we have an election today where the police millage collected in the township is for 4 years and for the village it's only 1? Well, that's because of the way our charters read. In order for the village to hold an election to collect the millage for police service, it's different time frame than the township. So that's why we had to have the ballot language today for 1 year. Then in November, we separate from the township, and this is a ballot just for the village residents on their police service. You're not going to pay any more. It's not duplication or overlap. Not a dime, not a penny. The following year after what's approved today, in November, will be the next year and beyond. So that language is going to be for providing just police service in the village. Now, there's Headley language in there. Headley can get really confusing, and it gives me a headache when we start talking about how it applies and when. But in summary, it's my understanding that because the township has always held a special election for us, the village taxpayers, to collect that tax, Headley did not apply. But because the village is collecting it as a part of their general operating millage, Headley applies. That's the only scary part of that word. The reality is it's the same dollar and it's the same cost. The only difference is because Headley applies, we have to put that language in the ballot. It's not changing the amount that village taxpayers are going to pay for police service. The only thing it changes is where they pay that dollar. And again, it's the same dollar, not $1.10, not $1.01. It's the same dollar.
And what else is going to be on the ballot in November?
I believe there's also going to be 4 village council position elections. Those 4 positions are up in November. So good things. The village, the township, Orion, 2 separate communities, 1 great town. And they're all very, very good things, and we're looking forward to, I believe, a successful public safety millage today. I honestly believe there'll be no problems. And I believe it'll be a successful again in November. And I would encourage anyone that lives in the village, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to contact myself here at my office or the village manager, Darwin McClary. He's going to explain the language issues a little better than I am, but I've got a pretty good handle on it. But the most important thing is the honesty and the truth of it is the simplicity, really, is the only thing that's changing is where that dollar is going. It's not an increase in any way in November, and it's not an overlap of taxes. Headley applies because of the law requires it, but the reality is it's just simply we're changing who's collecting that tax.
Great.
Okay, so I want to read to you the full language of the ballot. It says this: shall a Headley override be adopted so that the current limitation on the amount of village taxes that may be levied against all taxable property in the village of Lake Orion, Oakland County, Michigan, be increased 1.4467 mils from 11.6554 mils to 13.1021 mils, with said increase being used for police purposes only beginning July 2017. If levied in its entirety, the new millage would raise an estimated maximum amount of $171,000 for the village in 2017. So the village will be releasing more information about this in the coming months leading up to the November election. Also, there's going to be seats on the village council that are also going to be up for election. But we especially want to make sure that we give a thanks to Village Clerk Susan Galeka for providing the ballot information, and Chief Jerry Narsh for giving us some of his time to do the interview that you just saw. But before we head back to the studio, we want you to remember this, that ONTV will be bringing all of our viewers detailed information as the election season rolls along, as well as continued live government meeting coverage from the village schools and the township, with all the meetings available on demand at our website, ONTV.org, and you can watch the government in action anytime that you like. And this is a service of Orion Neighborhood Television. What you better know is ONTV. So that's the election coverage here from the village, from the Lake Orion Village area. We're going to send it back to the studio for more election coverage.
All right.
Well, thank you for that live report, Kevin. Well, now we're going to take a look at all the races up. We have results.
We do.
So
before we get to them, I have one little programming.
Okay.
I know
Over to the
we're
township.
teasing. It's a tease. I know. I got it.
Sorry, I got
But
excited.
don't forget, ONTV is more than just meetings and election stuff. So we wanted to at least get out there before we get into the nitty-gritty of what we're looking at here tonight. Is that the sports schedule for ONTV is coming up. Dragon football is just around the corner. ONTV's got a full slate of games coming up. 5 home games, 3 varsity matches, as you can see on your screen. Dragon Football 2016 is just around the corner. The 2nd of September, home versus Stony Creek. And then we have some JV games thrown in because we only have 3 varsity matches this year, 3 games this year. And JV home versus West Bloomfield on the 8th, and on the 16th, the Double O Trophy, the big rivalry of M24 against Oxford on the 16th. JV versus Athens on the 29th. And then homecoming and the last game of the season for our coverage will be the Wolves of Clarkston coming into town. So all games are streamed live on nfhs.com for a slight fee, and a portion of those fees go to the video program at LOHS. So we're going to be bringing you a whole slate of live games streamed on the nfhs.com site. So kind of exciting. But like you're saying, we do have, we want to move on here because we do have some results, and we're looking to move along in this program. So let's take a look at the results for supervisor. We do have them up. Now, these are unofficial, and these are live on this site here. So Chris Barnett handily takes care of the Republican write-in, 1642 to 36. But look down at the write-in on the Democratic side. 100% reporting 58 votes. And now I'm not a clerk, but I heard this week that a write-in candidate needs at least 60 votes to move on to the general. So if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but if that's the case, then boy, it was the Democratic write-in almost made it. And so that's where we're looking there. And Chris Barnett, popular in town, does a nice job, very well spoken. He's in here a lot, does a lot for, he's everywhere. I mean, it's amazing the ground he covers, tweeting, putting posts on Facebook. He's all over the place, which is a good thing, keeping us informed of what's going on. Now, moving on, the heated race for the township clerk, and it's looking like the challenger is in the lead currently. Wow, but again, we have some write-in candidates, 4 votes for a write-in candidate, but it's 52% to 40%. Zielinski in the lead in the early going. Again, these are unofficial.
Yes, they are.
And they're from Oakland County. If we can put that link back up on the screen so everybody can see where we're getting this data from. And it's, okay, OakGov, and Yeah, that's kind of a crazy website. But you can go to ONTV.org and click on our election coverage link there. But this is an interesting little run here. Penny Schultz, longtime clerk here, and Jen Zielinski, the up-and-comer there, giving a challenge to the incumbent. And moving on to our treasurer, the treasurer's race. And we see, let's see if make sure to get that right. Donnie Steele, there's for treasurer. I can't get it in the middle, but there we go. Donnie Steele in the lead, 56 to 43% so far with 5 write-ins. And on the Democratic side, we see again another write-in for treasurer at 46 votes.
You might have to scroll up a bit.
See that? Okay, let's roll up a little bit. So there it is.
Yep.
So the Democratic side, they did have a write-in, but again, it looks like they fell short to get to the general election, based on the information that was shared with me.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're
We
rolling
don't know
onto the
yet
general.
because
I don't
these are
know.
unofficial. We don't know yet.
I'm in video. I put these things together. I am not an election guru by any stretch. But the Donnie Steele for treasurer is a interesting race here, and 803 votes for Mark Thurber, the incumbent. Again, we were mentioned, if you watch the board meetings over the last month or so,
was it a little heated?
It's been very tense and heated, and I like my politics a little more clean, I guess. But if you have something you believe in and
you're passionate about it.
Exactly, passion. I think is the key word. That it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
And, and it was interesting. If you go on ONTV.org and watch the old meetings, it's very entertaining, and you can see your government in action. So it's pretty crazy. So there's those main races there, and it's interesting. It really is, and this is democracy in action. This is your community voicing their opinion, and we're seeing it live as it happens. Let's try to find our fire and police millage results, if those are available. I'm just kind of cruising down here. I'm gonna have to adjust something. All right, where are we at?
Well, the good thing is that we crossed our fingers and we hoped this year that we would get results live for you guys at home.
Absolutely. So
and it worked. So.
That's the big the hurdle we were worried about.
That's the one.
So
thing
here's
we were worried about.
We do have the school sinking fund up. If you guys want to throw that building sinking fund, which, wow, I mean, I'm surprised that it's doing that well so far.
62%.
Yeah, 62% to 37. In years past for the bonds, it was completely flipped. I mean, it wasn't even close. And so it should be encouraging for the school district to know that, hey, it has a chance to go. Again, it's early. The precincts aren't 100% just yet. We've got 97%. It's very, very close to being 100% if you add those totals up. I'll have to refresh. Those might be finals. But that is good for the schools to help improve a lot of the different things going on there. And I know we have some of our viewers live in the Clarkston area too.
Yes, they do.
And their kids attend the Clarkston, residents, their kids go to the Clarkston schools, but they live in the Orion area. So here's the bond proposal for Clarkston, and it looks like it's going to go through. They had a very strong campaign to promote that for some time. It was, a very community-wide effort to help get that thing passed, and it looks like it's going to go through. All right, let's try to find the fire. Let's see where we're at. Fire and police. This website is so massively huge. Where am I at here? Here's Rose. Let me go up a little bit, I think. Orion Police and Fire. Here we go. And it looks like overwhelming, as always is always the case.
Yeah.
You have to have a fire department.
You have to.
And you have to have police protection. So it looks like those are going to sail through no problems. Some people voted no. It's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah. So, but these numbers, if we're adding up these totals, it's
They're
very
pretty
close
to 100%.
to 100%.
Yeah.
So the races are as they are. Let's see. where are we going next? We're going to try to go to,
Yeah, I believe
where are we headed
that-
to?
Well, I
Bria?
think we're going to have a message from the township supervisor.
Oh, no, are we? Oh, yes,
All
Township
right.
Supervisor.
Well, we are going to have a message from the township supervisor, Chris Barnett, about the township. And again, you are watching ONTV's live coverage of the elections.
Got it.
Hello, I'm Chris Barnett, your Orion Township Supervisor, and I have had the honor and privilege of serving our community for the last 4 years. I want to take a minute just to tell you a little bit about what we've been up to for the last 4 years and give you a little picture of where we're going in the next 4. Like I said, I was first elected to Orion Township Supervisor in 2012, and it has been a wild ride. I've never imagined having so much fun at a job and also being so busy. When I go to the classrooms in our community, I always tell the students 2 things: that their parents are my boss, and I have the most interesting and amazing job that they could ever imagine. And I really do feel that way. I love our community. I chose to live here 14 years ago, and I don't plan on ever leaving anytime soon. So let me just tell you a few of the things that we've been able to do over the last 4 years as you have entrusted me as your leader. First off, it's all been about efficiency. We have done so much from top to bottom in Township Hall to make sure we're spending your dollars wisely. One of the first things we did is we changed our healthcare provider, and we really can thank our employees for that. It was not a simple change, but just that change alone saved the township nearly $300,000 annually. All of our employees still got all their treatments, got to see the same doctors, and thanks to them and their willingness, we were able to save you, our taxpayers, more money. So what did we do with some of those savings? Well, we've revamped and completely redesigned our website. We launched the first ever Orion Township mobile application that is continuing to grow. We purchased Camp Agawam right on Clarkson Road. We had a great opportunity with the Boy Scouts of America to purchase 143 acres of absolute paradise. And if you haven't set foot there, you need to do that soon. So many of the projects that we have undertaken in the last 4 years have been directed by you, our residents. And like I stated, I take my direction from you. You are my boss. I don't take that lightly. And to that end, last summer we thought, what better way to understand what our residents want than to just ask you, right? How crazy and simple is that concept? So we did. We did our first ever community-wide survey, and the results were really astounding. We had over 1,200 responses, and what we've done since then is that has charted our course not only for this past year, but for the next 4. As you may or may not know, I am running unopposed in the 2016 election, so whether you like it or not, I will be your supervisor until the year 2020. But that doesn't mean we're slowing down. That doesn't mean we're taking anything for granted. I will continue to give 100% every single day to the residents of this community. Some of the other ideas that I have been kicking around but just haven't had quite enough chance to implement are all geared towards technology and making your experience with Township Hall even that much easier and better. We also want to continue to grow the reason that people chose our community to live, and that's our great parks and recreation. Did you know that we have 42 lakes in our community that's just 36 square miles that are over 5 acres large? 42 lakes in 36 square miles. We also have some of the best parkland in the entire state. So to that end, we have a lot of great ideas and concepts in what we want to bring to our parks. So what can you expect in the next couple of years here? Well, roads, and more roads. Obviously, we're living in the construction season of Lapeer Road this year, and I can just tell you that once we get through it this November, we will have a much better thoroughfare of Lapeer Road. Next spring, Baldwin Road kicks off, a 4-lane boulevard from essentially I-75 all the way up to Walden, and it's going to be a big pain, and it's going to require a lot of your patience. But once that road is completed in 2018, we're going to have a walkable, beautiful corridor on Baldwin Road. Thank you for entrusting me in this important position in our community. I am truly grateful for the opportunity and cannot wait for the next 4 years of exciting things to come. It's your job now to put 6 other members of our township board in place to serve with me over the next 4 years, and I am telling you, we have a lot to do. So please do your homework and make your vote count. Thanks again for your time, and thanks for living in the best community in Michigan.
Is this live also, or are we doing this to tape?
Welcome back. ONTV wants to thank Chris Barnett for that message, so thank you, Chris.
Yep, and you know, Chris is very active here at ONTV, coming in, you know, working together with all of our community members, the government agencies here at ONTV to bring you information, transparency to government, see what's happening, you know, where your tax dollars are going. You know, that's what we're here for, and we thank Chris for being a big part of that, including all of those who are running today, the incumbents who look to be moving on, and some of the incumbents that are looking to be maybe pushed out. So we'd like to thank all of those who have helped us, including Chris, to bring this ONTV to you know, the community. So without our local government supporting us, we wouldn't be here. So we have a race here that we need to take a peek at, and this is the 46th district for the state legislature, Joe Kent and John Riley in a almost virtual dead heat. But if you're looking at the percentages, it's the write-in vote might be the difference if you look. You know, so it's this is close. And John Riley has run in the past. He ran back in. Let me pull this up real quick. He ran back in 2014 against Brad Jacobson, and it was close, but Jacobson's the known name. He's been around a long time, and Riley only pulled 44% of the vote against 56 to Jacobson. But it's looking like a virtual dead heat. Joe Kent trailing slightly, and if there's, I already refreshed this, so I haven't seen any movement in the numbers. Right. But it's looking out of the 9,013 votes cast. This race is separated by nothing. I mean, this is the closest one we've seen, so it'd be interesting to see how this one ends. We'll keep an eye on that for the rest of the day. And then what else do we have? Oh, to play along at home. Well, let's make sure you remember that. It's OakGov. There it is on the screen. That Clerk Rod elections. Or go to the ONTV webpage and click on
I think that's a little bit easier
the link we have posted there, so you can see exactly what we're seeing. Now, it is a long website, so you do have to scroll through to see the results. But we're trying to get Kevin back over to Township to try to get a comment. I hear he's ready. Which one's ready? Kevin's ready. Okay, so we're going to go over to Township with Kevin, who's with Penny Schultz, to tell us more about what it takes to get an election on the air. So Kevin, take it away.
We're here at the Orion Township offices. The elections are over for the day. The polls are closed. We're here with Penny Schultz, the clerk of Orion Township. She's the person that puts on all these elections all throughout the township to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Penny, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about putting on an election. Can you tell us a little bit about what it takes to put an election on like this?
Yes, Kevin. We get started very early in preparing for the election. We have 15 precincts, and we have about 27,000 registered voters in Orion Township and the village of Lake Orion. And it takes about 300 election inspectors to run a successful election. And we also have 15 precincts in our community. So the churches, the schools, our fire station, everyone's involved in getting prepared for August 2nd.
Well, I know that my precinct is the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church over there on Baldwin. They did a wonderful job, the people that are working there. Are these people volunteers or are they staff? What type of people do you recruit to work these elections, the election inspectors you talked about?
So we recruit all the time. We have information online as well as in some of our outreach magazines that go out to the community. And election inspectors are a paid position, and it pays $150 for a full day, but they're also paid for training. So our inspectors are trained here on site. I train them, and it's just a great opportunity for the whole community to get engaged. People 16 years or older can become an election inspector, but when you're 18 you must register to vote, and any age beyond that is eligible, and we have all ages represented. So everyone in the community is engaged. I talked with a lady recently, and she's been with us for 20 years, and she comes back every year, and she's really glad to be a part of it.
Very nice, very nice. Now, the weather was good today, no rain, it was nice and warm, it was sunny, no cloud cover. People really shouldn't have an excuse to not go out and do their civic duty and vote. So can you tell us what type of turnout that you think you saw today at all throughout the township?
Yes, Kevin, we had a great turnout today. It was steady at all of our precincts. And we had about 2,600 applications received for absent voter ballots. And that's really a good thing because people who aren't able to make it to the precinct knew how important it was to vote. So they made plans in advance and requested an absent voter ballot. So we've had a good turnout today. I don't have the percentages yet because we're still having our precincts report for the end of the night, but we're hoping it's a good turnout, a good representation.
About what time do you expect to have all of your results in tallied and everything about what's happened?
I believe that we'll start to see those populate by 9 o'clock. Some of them are already coming in because we have modem transmission out to Oakland County to their elections division, so it automatically, once the poll is closed, it automatically transmits those results. So I think we're starting to see those populate, but then around 9 o'clock you'll see some of our other precincts fill in, and then I'm sure by 10 o'clock we'll have all of our results in place.
Well, great. It seems like from my perspective, when I voted this morning, that the election was very smooth. I hope that it was smooth in all 15 precincts. So we'll find out what the results are from tonight's election as the results start rolling in. Make sure you check to see those issues that are important to you, if they won or if they lost or if they're up, if they're down. We hope that everybody gets the result that they want in today's election. Penny, thank you so much for being with us, and good luck to you as well.
Thank you, sir.
We'll throw it back to the studio.
Oh, very good interview. Thank you, Kevin, for that, and thank you, Penny.
Yes, thank you, Penny.
Just to take a little bit of time, under this busy schedule of getting this election underway, to take, a couple minutes to talk to us. So, we thank Penny wholeheartedly here at ONTV. She's been great here at ONTV, doing her own show in her own time, and just the information. She's been fantastic for us here at ONTV. But what are we going to take a peek at before we go over to Canterbury? John, I should get an update here on Trustees. I don't know if we briefly glossed over them, but I'd like to show this again. Okay, so we're saying that our live feed at Canterbury isn't ready just yet, but here we are, the Trustees. Let's kind of digest what we're looking at here. But we've also have a, Trustee of Charter. I don't know if we've shown this. Let me scroll down a little bit. We didn't prepare for that. So if you look, Courtney F. Schaefer, Trustee, Charter, Township of Orion. So it was looking like Schaefer's going to go through to the general and going to challenge the guys up here with the big red lines. I mean, my eyes are kind of, the lights of TV. It's all blurring together, but it's looking like here, if I'm looking close, Brian Burney is up. The top vote getter is Slawinski so far. That's about 23%. If the numbers hold, and then we have Brian Burney, is that right, at 16.85?
Well, before him is Michael Flood Jr.
Michael Flood, he's at 17 too.
Yeah.
Like I said, the lines are all blurred.
It's okay. That's why
it's good
I'm
to
here.
have a co-pilot there, Bria. Thank you so much for that. And then we have Steimel, who's the incumbent. We're looking at two challengers.
Steimel and
where are we at here?
Steimel and I think it was Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very close, and 4 move on. So 4 are going to move on to the general, and the Democratic, 886 votes. They're moving on to challenge 10,998 votes.
Wow.
But like Penny was saying, it's looking like the turnout was very good. And just seeing almost 11,000 just here in the unofficial, it's good to see that everybody they did come out and vote.
Yes, they did.
That was a great question by Kevin. Weather. People say, it's wet. I'm going to stay home. Or gotta go.
You got to get out there and vote. You have to. It starts with the local government. So.
Come on up.
Absolutely.
We're going to go live on the air in a second. Hang on here.
John, we have a feed over to.
Okay, here we go.
Stand by. Okay, we're going to toss over to Canterbury Village with Joe Johnson and the crew. I believe we're going to talk to Chris Barnett. I hope I'm right.
You're going to ask this question. Yeah, we're live. All right. Are we on? Yep. All right, we're live here at the campaign headquarters. Like you call it, you've seen the results coming in so far. What is your reaction?
First of all, we're really thrilled that the residents overwhelmingly are supporting our police and fire departments. Obviously, amazing campaign. I don't know, awesome candidates that put themselves out there. And I still.
Well, modern technology isn't so modern today. We'll try to get a cleaner feed. If it ever cleans up, John, feel free to fly out there. We're just talking heads at this point. I mean, we want to hear the reactions. We want to see the reactions. If they don't come through today, we'll have full coverage for the news, and we'll have some news breaks prepared by the end of the week. Clerk. Democratic write-in. I don't remember that being there the last time we refreshed. They have 87 votes for a write-in on the Democratic side.
Well, and that's 100%.
And that's 100%. So I don't want to keep quoting information if it's not accurate.
Right.
So 87, if it goes along with what we're saying, there may be a challenger for, it's looking like Jen Zielinski moving on into the general, and Penny Schultz looks like she might be overseeing her last election for some time as the actual acting clerk. So we'll keep an eye on this one as well. This is it's like real. It's exciting to see this sort of thing, and you have new people I know we're going to get to know here on ONTV, and as the new people come into their seats, obviously they end up on the news with Bria and all that. So.
Now, did we look? We did look at all the proposals. And
we did. We can take another look at them. Where are we at here? Okay. So, John, I'm going to cruise down, and we're going to see about our school proposals. See if there's any movement on that. But it's looking good so far for the schools.
That's a good thing.
If I can find it. This site is massively huge.
Yeah, for those who haven't looked at home, you got to scroll
all the way down.
So it's taking us a minute, so just bear with us.
Oxford. Did I pass it?
I don't know.
It's all blurring together for me here. But, hey, don't forget. There we go.
There we go. Yep,
okay,
right there.
I got it. All right, so we can bring it up. And it's looking like it's holding.
Okay,
so
that's good.
The sinking fund, as a parent of students here in Lake Orion, it's for me, yes, I voted yes on this. It just needed to be done, and at least in my opinion. I know there's some that obviously we have 2,628 votes out there that are against, but all the work put in from the bond proposals, I didn't agree with the bond proposals the way they were written, and I want, and
now, were
I'm
you
for
confused
the schools.
when you were reading?
No, because the communication about this idea, or I'm involved with my kids' education, and I have a background in working for a school district, so I understand how the funding goes, and why you would need one of these things. But the bonds, they weren't promoted real well, in my opinion, and they went down heavy. But to see this turnaround is I'm not going to say I'm surprised, but I'm a little surprised. It's I'm surprised.
Well, I know for sure that Superintendent Marion Janopoulos is very happy about these results. So. And
I'll see Marion tomorrow. School starts tomorrow here in Lake Orion.
Oh, wow.
The year-round elementary, Carpenter Elementary, starts tomorrow. My two children have attended Carpenter forever. So I have a 5th grader his last year, my son's last year at Carpenter. So I'll be there, and Marion's always there to greet the family, and the family's coming in and the parents. So I'm sure she'll have a nice grin on her face as they ring the bell to start the new school year in 2016. And looking forward to seeing her tomorrow. We're trying to get her in tonight, but she has other obligations and different things like that. So we couldn't grab her. Okay, so it sounds like we're done with Skype and all of our live feeds. We are approaching near the end. What didn't we look at? We didn't look at the zoo.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know where to find it on this website. I mean, it's kind of crazy. We can get some general information. Let's go back to our state reps to see if Joe Kent and Riley, if anything has changed. And we haven't talked about Mike Bishop and the congressional run. So he was running virtually unopposed as Bishop because of who pulled out. That was Melissa Gilbert pulled out of the race late in the game, and Well, here's some results here, John. I have it here.
Oh, well.
So Melissa Gilbert got 5,700 votes. It was too late, I guess, to remove her from some of the ballots for health reasons. She pulled out of the race. And Bishop, you know, he's an established name. He's out there. He's been in the state government, and now he's in Congress. So he's going to go to the general. I think what the Democrats are going to do for the general for this race is they're going to try to get in, what's her name, Susanna Shkreli. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She's a county prosecutor in Macomb.
Okay.
And that's the name that's been put out there. She's actively campaigning, actively running, collecting funds on the website and so on. So it's looking like they're trying to get, you know, this county prosecutor to go against Bishop in the general in November. Other than that, I mean, this is a runaway. And let's see what else. Okay, we can try. Who else do we have? Some no names. Sandra Levin, 99% of the vote. He's moving on. I mean, how can you run against Sandra Levin? I mean, it's the Levin name. I mean, is just ridiculous in politics in the state. They're all over the place. And then David Trott, commanding lead there in the 11th district. Okay. What else are we looking at here? Oh, I'm scrolling and I'm on the air. Oops, sorry. The late hours. A long day here at ONTV. Let's see. Still on there. John still has me up, so I'm scrolling on the air. Let's take a look at some of the ballots cast. Some numbers here in Oakland County. I mean, these are kind of totals. So if you look at the Republican Party votes, 59,700 roughly. And the Democratic vote on that party side is about 46,000, and which is a normal number. I mean, it's nice numbers out there. It's a good number of participants going in. Then we have nonpartisan votes at 6,379. Then some crossovers at 3,506, and it's pretty interesting here. So turnout was pretty good. I'm thinking. We're still kind of wrapping up here. I don't know what our director has in mind for us. I have my little earpiece in here, and he's going to give me direction, I hope, of what we're doing. So I guess we're gonna wrap it up. We saw the results. It was some surprising.
They came through. That's the one big thing we were hoping for,
I'm
and
so
it actually
happy
happened.
that we have data. You know, so that didn't happen 4 years ago, and we kind of died on the vine. It was pretty rough, but. I want to thank Bria for coming in. You've been such a great co-host. No and thank you so much for hosting ONTV News for your tenure here. And, you know, I hope you continue to do so. You do a fantastic job. Tune into ONTV News 7 days a week, 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 10 p.m., 7 days a week. You can see all of the ONTV News, plus watch us on orionontv.org. We live stream everything. Go to our YouTube channel. HD every day and all day long. Games, concerts, you name it, we have it. And plus all the political commentary you can handle, because we'll be in replay for eternity, I guess, until the next 4 years, or until November. And then we're going to do the November general. Yeah. So we'll be here live for that. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, ONTV is here, your community television station. Stop in anytime or visit us on the web at orionontv.org. Pop on in. Make a show, take a class, say hi, and give us your comments. We're always looking for more. Thank you to all the crew for helping us tonight. Our volunteers, Evelyn Doyle, our audio operator. Thank you so much for, it's good to see you again. Our interns and our volunteers, Bria included, and our staff. So to the ONTV board, myself, Executive Director here at ONTV, Ian Locke. For Bria Brown, thank you and good night, everybody.
Good night.